Hi, welcome back. How to Chris here. So today I'm going to be sharing with you another measuring tip that I use. So if you're going to be measuring a board to find either the center, or you want to measure a board because you want to rip it into equal pieces. Maybe you want this board divided into 3 pieces. You want to rip it into 3 pieces, or you want 4 pieces or 5 pieces. This is 11 1/4, so you can either do the math, which might take a little time to figure that out, because if you need 4 pieces, you would have to divide that into 11 1/4, and that could be a little tricky. Well, what you can do is, without having to even think about the math that's involved, I'm going to show you the tip that I use, the trick that I use for that. We're going to start off with something easy first, so let's jump right into it. If you want to divide this board in half, it's 11 1/4, so we can divide that by 2, and that'll give us 5 5/8. And we'll check the other side. It's 5 5/8. So we did that with the ruler. I want to do that without thinking about what that measurement is, without having to divide it. I can just simply hold this ruler on an angle from point to point, and I'll choose an even number. So here is 16 at the other point. So all I have to do now is just mark at the center, which is 8. And now that's going to be half the board. So let's check it. And that's 5 5/8. So let's do that on another board. Let's say I want to get the center of this board. Well, I can do the same thing. We can either, okay, it's actually a little less than 2 inches, so that's going to be a little tricky to do it with the ruler. We can, but let's find an easier way. Let's just put this ruler on an angle from, let's find an even number. Let's find a whole number. Let's go to number 3. So we know 1.5 inches is half of 3, so we can put a mark at 1.5 inches. And now we know we've got a little less than 1 inch on that side, a little less than 1 inch here. So that's how you get the center without having to calculate it. If we want to get this board into, let's say, 4 equal pieces, we can either do the math again, divide 11 1/4, and if I try to get 4 equal pieces out of dividing that number, and you can, but let's do it the easier way. Let's hold it again to 16. Put a mark at 4. So we're going to do 4 pieces. We're going to go 4, 8, 12, and then there's 16. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 boards without even having to think about it. Then you just take your ruler and you just mark down like so. There. Then we go to the next one, which is here. And the next one, which looks like it was 4, which is here. Here. And we just run that down. So we've got 4 pieces. So we can rip this and we'll have 4 pieces. Now if we want 3 pieces, the only only problem here is if we do that on an angle here, again, it's 16. 3 doesn't divide into 16 that easily. So we want it to be a number that we can divide into easily. So we got 15. Just pull it back to 15 on the edge of the board and mark it at 5. So 5 and 10. And just bring those, just find those marks and mark that out. We got 3 pieces. So I hope that helped. This is what I do all the time when I'm doing, when we're doing carpentry work. So it just saves a lot of time out in the field, or even if you're just doing stuff around the house. Or this is a measuring technique that we use, and hope you can use it as well. So check out some of my other how-to videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot.